What if I told you that most people don't work because they want to? They work because they're scared. Right now, ask yourself one honest question. If your paycheck disappeared tomorrow, no severance, no savings, no side income, how long could you survive? A week? Maybe 2? Oh, but don't worry, you've got a great job. Very stable, very secure. That answer tells you everything about who's actually in control of your life. Let me tell you about someone we'll call Marcus. Marcus graduated from Ohio State, communication degree, $34,000 in student loans. He didn't know what he wanted to do, but he knew one thing. The bills were already there before he earned his first dollar. So he took the first job that offered health insurance, not because it excited him, not because it aligned with his passion, whatever that means, because he was afraid. Which, to be fair, is a pretty reasonable response when one trip to the emergency room can cost more than the car you drove there in. And here's the thing. Marcus isn't unusual. Marcus is everyone. Fear of being broke, fear of missing rent, fear of losing health coverage in a country where a single medical emergency can wreck years of savings, fear of being the only one in your friend group who's struggling. This fear has a name. Economists call it financial anxiety. Psychologists call it scarcity mindset. But really, it's just survival instinct wearing a necktie. And here's what fear does. It makes you reactive. You don't make decisions based on what you want. You make decisions based on what you're afraid of losing. That distinction will cost you decades if you're not careful. Most people never choose their financial life. They inherit it from their fears. Now, Marcus gets his first real paycheck. $3,800 after taxes. First one ever. And something changes. The fear fades, just a little. And something else walks in. He upgrades his apartment. Nothing crazy, just a nicer building, better neighborhood, $400 more a month. Then the car, because the commute is long and he deserves it. A Mazda 3, not a BMW, reasonable, right? That's the funny thing about lifestyle inflation. It never arrives wearing a top hat and introducing itself. It shows up disguised as being responsible. Then Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, a gym membership he uses twice, because apparently paying monthly to avoid exercising is now a subscription service. Then the first business trip, and he discovers lounges and upgrades. Then a vacation to Cancun, because look, he worked hard all year. The internet told him so. Here's the number nobody talks about. The average American's monthly expenses rise almost in lockstep with their income. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. You earn more, you spend more. The gap between income and expenses? It barely moves. But hey, at least the apartment has quartz countertops now. And now Marcus isn't scared of going broke. He's scared of going back to the old life. That's a different fear, a quieter one, a more dangerous one. The first paycheck buys freedom. Every paycheck after that starts buying comfort you can't afford to give up. This is the loop. Job, paycheck, bills, what's left? Spend it, more bills, need a raise. And the cruel irony, the loop gets faster the more you earn. Let's talk about Jessica. She's 34. She makes $140,000 a year as a product manager in Austin. By every visible measure, she's made it, at least according to Instagram, which, as we all know, has never exaggerated anyone's financial situation. Mortgage on a $480,000 home, a Tesla Model Y, a toddler in private pre-K, 2 vacations a year, good restaurants on the weekends. The Instagram grid? Immaculate. But if Jessica lost her job tomorrow, she'd be in serious trouble in 60 days. She's not irresponsible. She's not dumb. She's caught in the same loop Marcus is in, just at a higher altitude. The Federal Reserve's most recent data shows that roughly 37% of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency without borrowing money or selling something. Think about that. Not $40,000, not $4,000, $400. And this isn't a poverty problem, it's a pattern problem. People keep believing the next raise will fix it, the next promotion, the next bonus. The financial equivalent of believing the next slice of pizza will finally make you lose weight. But the expenses are always one step ahead because lifestyle inflation is automatic, and financial education? Nobody made that automatic. Here's what nobody tells you. Fear and greed aren't just emotions. In finance, they are operating systems. Fear says, work harder, take the safe job, don't risk anything, because obviously doing the exact same thing for the next 30 years is the safest plan imaginable. Greed says, you earned this, you deserve this, buy the thing. And most people, they let those two voices make every single financial decision. Then they wonder why their bank account looks the same every December. They never stop and ask, why am I making this choice? Is this logic, or is this just a feeling I'm obeying? Neuroscience backs this up. Studies from Princeton and the University of Michigan show that financial stress literally narrows cognitive bandwidth. When you're scared about money, you make worse decisions about money. It's not weakness, it's biology. But biology is not destiny. The trap isn't that you feel fear or greed. The trap is that you never learn to recognize them before you act. Most people don't have a money problem, they have an awareness problem. The people who break this cycle aren't geniuses, they don't have trust funds, they didn't go to Wharton. They probably don't have a morning routine with ice baths and journaling, or at least that's not why they're winning. They just learned one thing earlier than most. Money is emotional, and emotions are manageable once you name them. They started asking different questions, not how do I earn more, but where does my money actually go? Not how do I afford this, but is this an asset or a liability? They built what's called financial intelligence, not a high IQ, not a finance degree, just the habit of pausing before a financial decision and asking, is this fear talking or is this logic? They invested in assets that generate income while they sleep. Index funds, real estate, business equity, skills with leverage. They stopped trading time for money as their only strategy. And here's the key. They didn't become monks. They didn't stop enjoying life. They just stopped letting the fear of poverty or the desire for status be their financial planners. Here's the thing about the rat race. Nobody forces you into it. You walk in, often willingly, because the fear of not having enough and the pleasure of having more are two of the most powerful motivators in human psychology. And the system is designed to use both against you. Every car commercial, every luxury apartment ad, every apply now credit offer. Coincidentally, many of them seem to find you right around payday. They know exactly which buttons to push. The richest prison in America isn't a jail cell. It's a lifestyle you can't afford to stop paying for. So let me ask you one last question. Are you working for money, or is money working for you? If you don't know the answer yet, that's not failure. That's the beginning.